it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our life tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like a movie, my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quality, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. Killing time, we got nowhere to be. You're sending messages I can't ignore. No contemplating, come here close to me. I'm bored at home, can't leave the house no more. But I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm losing my love. You, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quality, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. You, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quality, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. Been friends since 1995. Growing up, same street, you, me, my ride or die. All the years, they would grow us apart, yeah. Moved away, but you're still in my heart, yeah. Call you up, how you been, can we play a rewind? Yeah, those other guys you choose, they don't care, no, like I do. I've been waiting on you. Oh, oh. I've been waiting on you for so long, and it's killing me to see you there with a broken heart. If you knew, I've been waiting on you. Oh, oh. I've been waiting on coming like a wrecking ball, crying on me, saying how they make you feel so small. When the rain couldn't get any clearer, I'm the one holding up all your mirrors, baby. Hurry up, back to me, why'd you ever move on, yeah. Yeah, you're making me confused. I'm the one that you should choose. I've been waiting on you. Oh, oh. I've been waiting on you for so long, and it's killing me to see you there with a broken heart. If you knew, I've been waiting on you. Oh, oh. I've been waiting on.
Hopefully you heard me. Welcome, and I hope you're having a lovely Saturday. It is January 17th, 2026, and it's a kind of a rainy, cold day here in North Kakalaki. Hope you all are having a great start to your weekend. Thank you for choosing me to hang out with. I got some potato soup on the stove I'm heating up for my brunch, and I thought, why not go live while I do this? Because I've got some exciting things happening in my life that I find exciting anyway, and wanted to share it with somebody. You know that I have been wanting to pursue my further education now that my kids are getting up and grown, and I'm going to seize this opportunity to find out, why did I struggle so much in school, and I'm getting my learning disability diagnosed, which will open up a lot of um, tools that I'll be able to access. And I'm going to try to shoot for that real estate license. And everything that I read about it says that it's perfect for us, 55, aging into 56 this year. I will be in June. Set your own hours. The economy is in the time when it's going to be a good, market to be in, and I have sales skills, a proven track record of closing sales and negotiating skills. And so those are the two things that I read were what I needed. And the math that says that it's not, trigonometry. It's something that I will be able to master. So prayers out there that I find my home and what I'm supposed to do in life. So kind of excited about that. So I'm going to go see to get psychologically tested on Thursday, and then take it from there. Get my continuing education and close out with a big bang, right? I've struggled enough, seriously. I have struggled enough, and I'm ready to make my own way. And I love the city that I live in, the area that I live in of North Carolina. So I can't imagine anything else that I'm more, excited about doing than telling other people how great my area is. Thanks, Lips. I appreciate it. I'm proud of you too. And you're beautiful. You should have lots of pictures. That little girl of yours you spit her right out of your mouth. She is so darn cute, man. I bet you kiss on her little cheeks all the time. But I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me as always. You just don't know how much that just seeing you there makes me feel better. I don't know why this makes me emotional. Gypsy, she's always crying or bitching. There's no in between. But it does sort of make me cry because I've known there's something wrong with me, pretty much all my life, but really struggling and trying to help my teenagers do their math. And I thought, wow, there's really something wrong here, and I've always struggled in school. And so, with that being said, we'll see where it leads us. Just giving it to God, and it seems to be what keeps falling in my lap over and over. So I really appreciate you. You have no idea how it really helps it go. When you're live and you don't have anybody there, it's hard. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate you. So on that note, I'm going to take this over here and show y'all some things that interest me anyway, and hopefully it interests you too. Hold on a second. Let me see where I've got to check my soup here too. I've got it on behind me. Let's see what this. I haven't watched this in the last 24 hours, so I don't know what's happening. So I'm gonna just don't shoot me for putting it on CNN, but I want to see what's happening there. Well, maybe I won't have to. Here is Fox News. They've got a
behind me to keep them warm. It's currently 9 degrees. They're still out here. They've also stacked cinder blocks. Not going to keep yourself warm with those. And they're just out here every night. Last night, they tried to pull the fence down surrounding the federal building.
Amen.
They walked through the gate. Eventually, it was locked. Not good.
Please tell me you haven't seen any women holding babies, please.
No, but the other night when they broke into the hotel that they believed ICE was staying at, I saw lots of toddlers and small children that they brought out to a legitimate riot in the middle.
Now, on my neighborhood app, I've seen them putting together these protesters here locally to me, and wondering, do y'all see it in your neighborhood app or on your Facebook?
Middle of the night with tons of violence.
Do these women, are the kids in strollers? Or do they have them in like one of those little swings?
I can't believe that.
Sometimes they have them in strollers, but the other night I saw several small children just being walked around. And I mean, these are kids that are, you know, this big.
Oh my God. And the fathers are dads there?
No fathers.
All right. So it's no dads, it's moms, and they're bringing kids. That's insane. And how cold is it? It's 9 degrees?
It's 9 degrees. It's bouncing.
That's crazy.
Okay. So what's the energy tonight? Is it more of a hardcore crew, kind of the Antifa people, or are there women out there as well?
Well, women have found their place in Antifa. There are definitely Antifa types out here. Many of them have passed right by us. They wear their paint gas masks and their balaclavas. Those people are always out here. The difference in the crowd is always day and night, literally. So during the day, it's still a very vicious crowd, but at night is when you start to get like groups of Somalis coming in, and it seems that they just don't really care what happens, and those are the kinds of people that throw a lot of stuff and stuff like that. When Nick and I got our Jeep attacked, they had pre-frozen water bottles. Ooh. So the water bottles were frozen ahead of time and then thrown at our Jeep.
Wait, so you were under attack? What happened?
Almost burned my
Nights
soup.
ago, Nick Silver and I were out here.
Give me just a second. I'm going to prepare my soup and I'll let y'all watch this.
And we were in our Jeep trying to keep a low profile. We only came out when there was
It absolutely
protesters and
is.
federal agents. And they surrounded our Jeep, forced us to drive through the crowd. Nobody was hit, luckily. But they were throwing frozen water bottles and rocks at the vehicle. And they pulled their cars out in front of us, just like Renee Nicole Good did to those ICE agents. They blocked us from the front and the back.
Oh my God. All right. Well, you guys got to behave yourselves. Stay safe. Don't get into too much trouble. But you're doing an amazing job documenting all of this stuff for us. So keep at it. We appreciate it, Cam.
Thanks, Jesse.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name.
Give me a second. I'll flip through that commercial for you. Let's see what's going on
Independent
here.
counsel and Mike Davis.
I think
Article
this
3
is
Project
happening
President,
to where I
former law
live.
clerk to Justice Neil
I'm
Gorsuch.
telling
Saul,
you,
let's
there's
start with
something
you.
fishy with the
details
Kaplan
are still coming
dynasty
in,
family
but your
and
initial
their,
thoughts about this charge, 18
school
U.S.C.
board
372, I believe, conspiracy to impede federal agents. Could this stick?
Well, they certainly have a right to investigate it, and some of the statements made by the governor and certainly the mayor are very disturbing. As you know, it's hard to go after people for even under federal criminal statutes for conduct that is pure speech. So we'll have to wait and see how the facts develop. But the idea that you would not be able to start an investigation based upon this, I completely reject.
And when we talk about using language and words, and let's go to Mike on this, It's really language and words that lead to action on the part of the agitators on the ground. When you're telling them to film, to track, and calling this an invasion, Mike, that comes pretty close to incitement. And one would think,
Oh, did you
get
really?
text
It's
messages
delicious.
and you get emails, and the story might actually get a lot spicier for them.
I like soup.
Yeah, under the Constitution, our U.S. Congress writes our immigration laws on behalf of the American people. Congress decides who gets to come and who has to go, and the president has a constitutional duty to enforce those federal immigration laws. That is the
I wish he would hurry up and do something. You know, either shit or get off the pot. Quit talking about doing something and not doing it.
supreme law of the lands, and these local governors, these local mayors cannot interfere with federal immigration enforcement. That is not only is it assaults on federal law enforcement, you're looking at insurrection and seditious conspiracy, along with harboring, conspiracy in general, and many other serious federal felonies when you are inciting people to commit violent acts to physically obstruct federal law enforcement.
Are people protesting where you are? I didn't like soup as a kid either, unless it had ABCs and 1, 2, 3s in it.
So I would say to Governor Walz and to Mayor Fry, you better back down or you're going to end up in federal prison.
Yeah, so there's a lot of
Wow,
movement
they're
here
not.
because on the one
I'm in a
hand you hear
Democratic-run
Walz
state.
and sometimes Fry
That's why I think we
say
see
things
it.
like, you know, don't take the bait, don't give them the moment they want. And so they try to kind of say, be careful. Even Ilhan Omar today, you know, said, don't, you know, essentially don't throw things at agents. But then in the next breath, it's track, follow, invasion. You know, these are, you know, tactics of an authoritarian. So it's a bit of a murky legal analysis, but the investigation itself, again, I would imagine would elicit a lot more evidence if the government really wants to go this route.
Boy, she's really going out on a limb by saying don't throw things at agents. Wow, what a peacemaker she is. Look, people should listen to what Mike just said. A lot of
That's
this
funny.
activity, take a look. I
Big
encourage
time.
everybody to take a look at Title 10 United States Code, Section 253. If Trump wanted to, if you look at the language of that statute, he could invoke the Insurrection Act.
I can't
It would
believe
be
he
a
hasn't
very,
yet.
very controversial move. But certainly, if you look at the language of that statute, which talks about preventing any combination or conspiracy that obstructs the laws of the United States and enforcement of the laws of the United States, and the president gets to make that determination, it's not even completely clear whether or not that would be subject to judicial review. So in one sense, he's actually potentially diffusing the situation by just investigating 2 public servants for obstruction. People need to be.
Yeah, we're gonna
need to be very careful. You know, President Trump is blessed by his enemies sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Need to
Plus-
create more video content?
Change speed a little bit. I was wondering what I was going to wake up to and see. I thought for sure he would have. I don't know. What do I know? Oh, let's watch this real quick.
If you're not familiar with the Micah Miller story, I encourage you to go to my
I love
website,
this guy.
therobbieharvey.com. There's an entire timeline
Sub up to
of
him.
the
He is a
story on my website
fantastic
filled with
creator.
videos, audio recordings, court
He
documents,
has a whole playlist
pictures,
on the
notes,
Micah
text
Miller,
messages.
John Paul
It's
Miller.
all there. And I encourage you to do that because if you're not familiar with this story, tonight's show is going to be a little confusing for you because we're talking about almost a 20-year journey, really.
Mm-hmm.
to what has happened this past week.
This is the preacher down in Myrtle Beach who was arrested on fraud and I believe RICO charges in connection with the unaliving of his wife, Micah Miller. I'm going to speed it up to the court here. I want to see what's happened.
By a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
My request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give for the next, little bit, because I don't want to have, I'm taking a little bit of a break and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks, I don't know. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away. And it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina.
Galveston County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
This guy is such a great
I'm about
YouTuber.
to kill myself, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
Many say that she was murdered. And a lot of the final hours of her life, final hours that her husband, her pastor husband, knew about, the details of those final hours, despite him being.
Okay, I'm not going to go through. I just want to see what happened in court. So I'm going to fast forward through all this, and I just want to see what happened in court. It looks like it's right here. Let's go right here. And it's a commercial. I don't hear it. There it goes.
And there's still a ton more behind the scenes that you won't hear from until after it's all.
Get us to the court stuff here, Robbie.
Too quiet.
Another
Turn your
commercial. He's monetized, of course. I want to get to the good stuff here. And
We know.
He could ask for a trial as early as March. Should he request that, it's absolutely his right to do so, and the government would be prepared to try that case.
How long would a trial like this take?
It's hard to estimate, but knowing everything that we know, it could be a week, maybe 2.
Does that period of further investigation too what might come up?
We're talking about the facts as presented today and in the indictments.
With the investigation, how long this took? I mean, I believe it was more than 12 months. I mean, is this pretty typical a time frame for the investigation?
I'll say that FBI, as well as our local partners that helped us solve this case, were incredibly thorough, detail-oriented. They left no stone unturned. And when they were ready and we were ready, we brought the charges as soon as we could.
Can you say how many witnesses or victims you guys?
No.
Is there a specific reason why this got picked up on the federal level?
she just said she could not. Hey, Mr. Nobody. What's up, man? Hey. I worked on my thumbnails yesterday. So thank you for your advice. Hopefully it works. She just said that she wouldn't tell them how many witnesses they had. So I'm going to back that up just a little bit because I want to hear what she says right here.
Detail-oriented. They left no stone unturned. And when they were ready and we were ready, we brought the
Thanks for joining us.
Can you say how many witnesses or victims you guys?
No.
Is there a specific reason why this got picked up on the federal level?
No, we have no comment on that. We just work with our law enforcement partners. And
Do you think
was this their?
Sorry.
that's all right. The investigation is ongoing, as we've stated.
Was this a request by local authorities to get you guys involved, or?
We're just going to stick with this investigation. The facts took us where they were, and that's why we're in court today.
Finally, if you have anything to say to the victim's family.
We're in constant contact with the victim's family. We're trying to respect them as they're going through this, because while Micah's gone, she's certainly not forgotten, and we want to stand by them through this whole process.
Wow.
And, I think we'd be happy with today's result.
I think he's going to get the hammer.
Working very hard on this case. Our team is with the family.
Will they eventually discuss the trial? Will they eventually be involved in it?
They certainly have the right to be there. I'm not going to comment on whether or not they'd be subpoenaed or we force them to go, but they are fully supportive of the investigation. They just don't want to be here today.
Understood. Last thing for you, sir. You're the top guy. You know, you don't show up to everything. Is there a reason why you showed up to this today?
I was here to support my team. And I was very impressed with what was presented in court today. As
Wow,
I
he's
am,
being
as well, and
evasive.
other lawyers in our office across the district.
Okay, so sub up to him and we'll find out what is going on with that case. They were being very evasive. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, I gotta show. What is this gunman holds? That was 3 months ago, though. Okay, so that's not important. I do want to go to this one over here, though, because I want to see what's going on with this here.
Dreaming of a custom home that's exactly how
out from independent journalist Nick Shirley investigating more alleged fraud in Minnesota. Take
I
a
wish
look
he'd come to
at the
Winston-Salem,
response he
North
got
Carolina,
while he
and
was
find
out
out
on
where
the
all that
street
money
going
went.
door to door.
At the
Why are
school
you
board.
sensationalizing the propaganda?
What are we sensationalizing?
To attack
Thank
our
you,
community?
Mr. Nobody.
What's your final objective?
We're not attacking your community by any means.
Are you making
We're
good money
looking.
from this?
We're looking for fraud.
No,
for instance, can you answer our question? Where's the? It's not there. And why don't you answer?
How much money are
Why don't you answer the
how much
question?
money
Where's?
How much money are you making?
I make money off of YouTube. That's how I make my money.
Exactly. So you're making money off of sensationalizing.
That my job
and attacking
is.
the Somali community.
I'm not attacking you guys. We're asking.
I'll tell you the
fraud is
reason why
fraud,
this is
sir.
happening. All right, let me tell
David,
you the reason why you're
fraud is
attacking
fraud,
this.
correct?
Yes.
This has nothing to do with race. This is fraud. Is
This
fraud.
absolutely has to do with us being Muslim.
No, it does not.
All right, and us being from Africa. This is a constitutional argument. If you don't want us here, change the freedom of religion. Say, listen, we don't want Muslims in this country anymore.
We're not saying that.
No, you hate Muslims.
I'm not saying I hate
You
Muslims.
you
We're
know
talking
you
about
hate
fraud.
Muslims.
We're talking
Why
about
are you
fraud.
attacking us?
This
Are we
is
the
fraud.
only community
We're
that suffers because of fraud?
We're talking about
Are we
fraud.
the only community that does fraud? Are we the only community that does this?
Nick is set to testify before Congress next Wednesday on the alleged fraud scheme in the state. And Nick joins me now. Nick, it's good to see you again.
Wow, that's crazy. I wish this guy would come here and find out what happened to all the money at our school board.
I'm curious, just to ask you a question. Are you approaching random Somalis in the community? That gentleman suggests that you are coming after his community. So are you just going after Somalis?
No, not at all. We're just going after the fraud that's taking place in Minnesota. It just so happens to be that 89% of the fraud that's being committed in Minnesota is from Somalis. So we went to all these locations. If there's a white man inside that building, we would have asked the same questions. And so for them to come after me and try to make it a race issue, it's really not, when it's just going to the locations that are on the website of the state of Minnesota.
Well, and I'm leading us somewhere, Nick, but what about Muslims? Are you targeting Muslims? Are you randomly looking for Muslims on the street and asking if they committed fraud?
No, just asking the businesses and going to the locations.
Right. Yeah, and that's my understanding. I've seen your video, and so this man has suggested that you are doing this to attack specifically Muslims in the Somali community. But as my understanding, you're looking at addresses. You're going to places that you suspect of fraud. You, in fact, if the word targeted actually means anything, are targeting locations and businesses that you suspect, am I right, of fraud?
Yes, 100%.
And it just so happens, as you point out, that 89% of those businesses in Minneapolis happen to be Somali. This time,
Excuse me, sir. How old were you when you made your first million?
What is this for?
We're trying to get advice for the younger generation.
I made my first million last year, actually.
What line of work are you in?
Okay, I'll use that,
Sales.
Mr. Nobody.
what's
Thank
the
you.
best advice you can give someone that's in sales?
You're only as good as your sales reps and your CRM.
Let's welcome to the show. Look who's here. Fox News contributor Joe Concha.
Joe, what do you make of this? What do you make of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar here claiming this is just a PR stunt when the DOJ, FBI, DHS, IRS investigating? Even Governor Tim Walz, AG Keith Ellison, Mayor Fry says all of this crime must be stopped?
Yeah, Elizabeth, I guess if Baghdad Bob had a long lost daughter, I think we just found her.
Yeah, I really appreciate any of your suggestions. Big time, big time.
It's Ilhan Omar. I mean, the lies that she is telling, and you may notice all those clips you played were from a network I guess is called MS Now, where she could just say these lies, not be challenged, and have bobbleheads in terms of so-called anchors nodding along when, as you said, when the top officials in the state, not exactly the most honest folks in the world, whether we're talking about Tim Walz, as you mentioned, Attorney General Keith Ellison, the human broomstick that is Jacob Frey, all of them admit there is fraud.
I have my bobblehead. I found it and repaired it. It's right here on my desk. Y'all remember me telling you don't be a bobblehead? Don't be a bobblehead. Go along. Yes. Yes. Are we supposed to hate her this week? Yes. Yes. Oh, we like her this week? Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. That's what he means by don't be a bobblehead.
Attorney General Keith Ellison, the human broomstick that is Jacob Frey, all of them admit there is fraud that has happened in Somalia. I'm sorry, I almost called Minnesota Somalia, Mogadishu, in Minnesota, to the tune of $9-10 billion. No one's denying that, I guess, except for Ilhan Omar, who is living in an alternate universe where I guess MS Now allows her to live. But in the end, this is all going to come to fruition. She was and is a congresswoman that represents Minneapolis, where a lot of this fraud happened, and it happened because of the Somalian community, because of importing the chaos that they have and bringing in hundreds of thousands of Somalis that obviously have fleeced the state for billions of dollars that they may never get back. Liz.
Imagine being able to build anything.
Omar, Representative Morrison. Two questions. One, I've spoken to some people that were detained here in Minnesota that are undocumented that are now in an El Paso facility, and they say that someone told them that no Minnesota detainees are allowed visitors. I'm wondering if you guys have spoken with anyone that has been detained there, and if you're working to try to get them to be able to get visitors. And then my second question is, we have seen protests be peaceful, but MPD did say on Wednesday night that there were rocks and ice thrown at officers as well as fireworks.
I'm trying to go back and fix them.
Protesters who were doing unlawful.
When I started to catalog all my stuff, and when I changed my season, I always try to catalog everything. I've had playlists from the beginning. Alicia, she taught me that when I was modding for Jimbo. She said, make sure your thumbnails are good and your hashtags are good and your you name your stuff good. And I thought I had. I might be tarred red and not know how and what to do.
Wow.
Let me take the first one. What? So last night at dinner, and in the last few weeks, we've certainly heard in cases where people have been picked up, many of them who had lawful status in this country. We've heard a Sudanese immigrant who went in for.
If y'all would, if you're not a member, consider purchasing a membership. I'm just one membership away from hitting my threshold. I'm like at $98. I need just $199 to hit threshold. So if you're not a member yet, Mr. Nobody, if you'd consider purchasing one, or anyone that's watching, it's only $1.99, and I pretty regularly add stuff. So where's my little ad here? Here we go. So consider purchasing a membership. It's only $1.99, and I do members only stuff. Okay, back to our regular programming.
For his scheduled green card appointment, and was told that he wouldn't have his interview, and was picked up, sent to Texas. Our office has tried to get information about his whereabouts. I know that Senator Tina Smith's office has tried to get information on his whereabouts. We also know that his family has tried to have lawyers get information on his whereabouts. We also know about a grandmother who was picked up as she was driving her grandchildren. The grandchildren were left in the car without a driver as the grandmother was taken away. We still don't have information, so I can go on and on in many of these cases, and I still have not heard a single case in this search where someone who was a criminal, undocumented, being picked up from the street. Many of the cases that DHS, at least to my knowledge, and I would love for them to provide us the dates in which they were picked up and from where in our communities, or what.
I can't believe she's still
some of these people that they are putting forth, saying, you know, they've taken off the hardened criminals off the street, because it is my understanding that many of those people were already adjudicated, already serving prison sentences, and many of them are still serving their prison sentences in many of the prisons throughout the state, and they're just taking their mugshots and submitting the charges of what they've been convicted of as a proof of the people that they're picking up. So I would love more accuracy of information. As they say, they're the most transparent administration, which is the biggest lie told on American soil, I believe. It is the least transparent. It is the most corrupt. It is the one administration I have seen lie to us, even though we have an accurate documentation of their lies, even if we are witnesses to the lies. And then I would say, lastly, to your point, you know, this again is one of those operations where they say they were carrying out an operation, and then we hear from Minneapolis Police Department say they just raced a random guy in the middle of the street into his home, and then ended up shooting him. And there, you know, was someone who was pregnant, and then there was tear gassing being thrown into a car where a man talked about having 6 of his children in the car, where a 6-month-old was tear gassed and was hospitalized. So when we think about where the chaos is coming from, who is creating these violent environments, those are ICE agents. That's
I've always added the description, and I've always added hashtags. And I've always made custom thumbnails.
In the way in which they used to carry
Go back
them
and
out,
look at my channel.
where
You'll
we
see
knew
for
where they were
yourself.
going in. They would give a heads up to law enforcement, local
It's
law
a lot
enforcement, that's
to
where they
still
were
not
going.
be
There was an understanding of
recognized. It's a
who
lot.
they were
The
looking
trolls
for, and instead
really
of
push your
storming a
channel
whole neighborhood,
down
jumping
and
out of
throw it
cars,
off. It
running
throws
up
all
on
your
people with
stats
massive guns drawn,
all over the
maybe we
place.
wouldn't have any of this. And I do hope
sometimes they
that
show
the
and
administration
when you're
and
the
Kristi Noem
darling,
understand.
but when you're under attack and they've got everybody hating your guts, nobody's going to come watch me. So that's, you know, a death to a channel. It's bullshit. When they try to tell you, oh, we're going to build your channel up for it, that's a lie. That is a goddamn lie. They're killing your channel when they do that. Because all it takes is for them to carry out one narrative of you, and you're the locale of the month. And there's nothing you can do.
That de-escalation comes from them removing this occupation. It comes from them taking ICE off our streets, and it comes from them stopping this rhetoric of blanket saying that Minnesota is full of criminals, because Minnesota is not full of criminals. Minnesota is an incredible state that welcomes people, that is generous.
4.5 years, I should have had some retention. But anytime I got, like, we're going to use Lips as an example. They would see Lips over in my chat. You don't want to go over there. You don't want to go over there. And then if she did come over here, they would berate her and give her a hard time in Mean Girl chat and call her all kinds of names. And so you're berated for being, seen at any of the Lil Cows channels. So, yes, I should have retained somebody. Okay. But like even Crazy Chicken Lady, when she came over, she became a mod and we were doing it every day, just like me and Sarah, and we were doing it every day. When they see you doing well, that's when they move in for the kill.
But it's also a state where lawful people reside.
I would just add that one of the big challenges is the lack of transparency. We have heard reports that people are being brought to Whipple and immediately placed on a plane to Texas, to Louisiana. We don't know their names. We don't know where they're going. So we're hearing reports of that, but we're getting no transparency.
Sorry to interrupt this already scheduled program to discuss these comments, but Mr. Nobody, with all due respect, I love you to death. I appreciate all your help, but it's moronic to not realize that my channel has been bastardized. If you've been here from the beginning, you would see how I was targeted every time my channel started to take off. They pulled Sarah away. Then my channel started to take off again with Crazy Chicken Lady. They pulled Crazy Chicken Lady away. It's over and over and over. And with Lips, they pulled her away. When you're bastardized, it doesn't matter what your thumbnails look like. But I appreciate you.
Transparency. When we went in to try to...
The trolls have to take responsibility for fucking with people's channels. I mean, that's just all it is to it. If we can take our responsibility for engaging in it once it starts, which I have wholeheartedly, but come on. All right, let's really be honest and not gaslight me.
To perform our constitutional duty of oversight and our legal right, I would add too, when we were denied. I made a personal plea to the ICE officers there. I said, Minnesota has been through a series of tragedies. We suffered the loss of Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark. That was incredibly traumatic for our state. We then suffered through the Annunciation Catholic School shooting. What we need, and we had cooperation between federal agencies and local law enforcement for both of those tragedies. And now we have no transparency, no cooperation.
I don't know who you are. I appreciate your help. I really do. But the things that you're telling me to do, go back and look at my channel. They've been there all along. Been there all along. And it all started when I refused to cover ATI All Toast because she's boring as shit. And that's not what I wanted to make my channel. Okay. Ever since then, Sarah doesn't accept any of my texts or anything like that. Crazy Chicken Lady ignores me in chat because they've been told to. I'm not stupid. And at some point, the trolls have to take responsibility for channels that they've bastardized and caused not to grow. And the little spat that I had, because that's what I call it, a spat between me and BDAC, when I saw him paying for trolling. And then, I confronted him about it, and everybody knows the rest is history. Ever since then, when I didn't agree to it, or I called people out on it when I saw it happening, is when I became bastardized. So as long as you go along with it, and you torment people with them, and you become one of them, which is this. If you become a Bobo Dolly, then you're the little darling. Well, we just can't cash you enough. Now, you do as you're told, and we'll support you. But if you come in here with a free mind, fuck off. That's how they treat you. If you're a free thinker and want to do your own thing, that's what happens.
I said allowing us in, letting us do oversight, and being able to report back to Minnesota will do a lot to bring down the temperature. And they shrugged it off and said, we don't care.
Do you mean when you say updating my channel? I think that's wonderful. I think that's wonderful. But you cannot tell me that you're not in with those same people that are berating me. And I've told y'all to stop. I've told y'all I'm not in on the joke. I don't think it's funny that y'all go over there and pile up using my content to berate me. I think it's bullshit. And it does not help your channel grow. That's a lie. Wait till I come back. There's certain ones I'm not allowing around. They will say, we don't care, but when my channel is the only one left, they'll be crying. I know, it's crazy. How many have they run off? But I get that that's the whole point. You and I have talked about that. They wanted to run me off. And then what did I do? I just kept making more channels. I guess I ruined that.
So I think transparency is one of the challenges. In terms of local law enforcement, we just heard from Chief McCarthy of Mendota Heights about how difficult local law enforcement's job has become with the ICE presence. So of course, people should not break the law, do not throw things at law enforcement, but distinguish between our local law enforcement and ICE.
And if I might add to this, I was told, then leave. I've tried to. I make my own content. I don't cover anybody but what's interesting in my head that day, and I'm still attacked. So once, you know, and she's built her entire channel on my content, and y'all are okay with that.
ICE and CBP.
Are you worried that using your home address for business?
I don't think y'all are watching her. You know, and I was told, you know, make your own community. Well, I tried to with Sugar Pie. I tried to with Crazy Chicken Lady. I've tried to. And what happens? So, you know, so I just started making other channels and going places. Y'all don't know where I'm at. Y'all got no idea where I am all day long. Y'all think y'all know, but you don't. I'm sorry, Rapper. How'd you do that? Hell yeah. Because they're not all like this, Lips. I go to other communities and they're normal. They actually network. They get the whole concept of networking. You don't berate each other, you encourage each other. It's... Well, I hope you get to feeling better. It's rage baiting. You know? You know, and I have family members say, do you actually think that Kells is your friend? Hell no. Hell no. I don't think she's my friend. I don't think any of the trolls are my friend. And I think pretty much everyone in this community is one. Every single one of them. Right? Because we see it. We watch it. You know? So... I'm just going to keep doing my thing, know what I mean? Just like when I fired all my mods, I don't need mods. Mods will kill your channel. They block everybody. It kills your channel, you know? So when you have a whole army coming after you, it doesn't matter what your thumbnails look like. It really is. So you know, other than I won't be a Bobo Dolly and do as they say, I've never done anything to anybody. Sure haven't, but I'll sure share your channel out and I'll help you. You've got to live with yourself with how you've done other people, you know. Hey, White Rabbit, good to see you. Where's my little thing at? Hey. I was eating some potato soup with bacon bits and watching the news. That's about it. I went ahead and made my appointment for my assessment to find out what the hell's wrong with me so I can take my real estate course. But there's no real point in signing up for a course that you're not going to understand because of a learning disability until you get that handled. But they have classes to help people like me. And the way the psychiatrist explained it to me, she said it's just like dyslexia, only it's with numbers. So that will open up some tools for me to use when I do my studying and I take my tests. So, you know, tools to finish getting through life. And I've got my son signed up to start his classes this year. And I figured, why not do it too? You know, we'll both do it. I'll help him. He'll help me. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Hey, Lulu. Good to see you. What else was I burnt my potato soup when I was watching the news. But anyway, it was still good. My mom would have really. That's what I'm reading is the perfect thing for my age and the economy, the way it's going to start going. You know, they're putting a lot of things in places. Yeah, I have a friend of mine who does that here locally, and he's fantastic at it. He has a YouTube channel. And I asked him if he would come on for an interview, Ramon, and he said he would. So I might do that. Hey, Kels. Once again, not taking. I believe that I did take accountability for my actions, Kels. But when you take every little minute detail of my being and berate it, then you're not taking accountability for what you do. You're toxic. You have a toxic channel. You don't know how to have content that isn't berating someone. But hey, you do you, boo. Let's be honest with each other. I've already owned up and taken responsibility for entertaining you this way. This toxic, bipolar shit that you do. 1 minute you're, hey, girl, hey, girl, hey, girl, just like Constance said, hey, girl, hey, girl. And the next minute you're berating me. You know, now we were watching the news and then look what's happening. Am I covering what I intended to cover? You see how they do? They totally thwart your life. You know? She will never say sorry. She will never apologize for anything that she's ever done to me, ever. She doesn't think she's done anything wrong. So, you know. But when she's no longer the little darling, right, Lips? We see what happens to people when they're no longer the little darling. And it always goes in a circle. 1 minute you're the little darling and everybody's kissing your ass, and the next minute they jerk every single bit of support you ever had because you wouldn't cover some lady toast. Give me a break. I'm never apologized to. I'm always the one apologizing. Kind of sounds like gaslighting to me. So they came in rage baiting me because everybody knows that my thumbnails have always been custom. Everybody knows that all my descriptions have been exactly what they're customized each time. So it's not my thumbnails. Let's watch this one right here. I want to see this guy being brought under the. I want to see this. Everyone says that he was. making excuses. I'm gonna hear this.
The alarm on this fraud for years.
About the Clintons not showing up.
Democrats have attempted to distract
Everything
the
will
American
happen.
people from this widespread fraud and accuse investigators of racism. This should not be a partisan issue, but they clearly do not take this issue seriously. Either they don't take fraud seriously or they just don't care. It's one or the other. The most vulnerable are suffering as a result. These programs are meant to feed needy kids, provide services to autistic children, house low-income and disabled Americans, and provide health care to vulnerable Medicaid recipients. The Walz administration has kept this money flowing for years, oftentimes behind closed doors. When whistleblowers came forward about this fraud, the Walz administration retaliated against employees who warned and alerted the administration to fraud occurring within these social programs. There's supposed to be checks and balances in our system to prevent this, both on the federal and state levels. Every agency that lost hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars has well-paid staff that are supposed to prevent this. That's their job. They're inspectors general. That's their job. They have huge staffs. We have jurisdiction over the IGs. Many have failed, and they need to be held accountable. Now, I want to close by saying we've had 4 Minnesota Republicans to waive on this committee. If there was a committee hearing about fraud in Kentucky and I wasn't on the committee, I would want to waive on the committee. But not a single Democrat requested to waive on the committee from the state of Minnesota. And there is one member of the Minnesota delegation, Representative Omar, who coincidentally is of Somali descent, did not request to be in this hearing. I will publicly invite her to come to the next hearing. And she doesn't have to, but she can request to be waived on, and I will gladly grant that request. Now, I'm doing this motion. I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record an application unsealed by the United States District Court for the District of Minnesota on December 18, 2025, for law enforcement to execute a search warrant on Ultimate Home Health Services, LLC, for defrauding Minnesota's Independent Community Supports Medicaid.
Almost half the kids in the United States see a doctor. And that we lost, of course, $1 trillion in those programs. Over 10 million people could lose health care. Trump's law also cut 40 million people who use SNAP. And this includes, by the way, 1 out of every 5 kids. And this is happening not just in Minnesota. The president plans to freeze more than $10 billion for child care subsidies, social services, and cash support for low-income families in Minnesota, New York, Colorado, Illinois, and my home state of California. Of course, we know these states have Democratic governors that Donald Trump wants to punish. And we should look at those consequences if we want to talk about fraud. In Minnesota, which we're talking about today, Donald Trump is removing child care funding for the entire state. That frozen funding provides childcare for over 18,000 kids. These kids didn't commit fraud. So I want to know why they should be punished. Last night, he said he's withholding all possibly Medicaid funds from Minnesota, which could harm 1 in 5 residents. Now, in New York, another state he's threatening, that's over 66,000 innocent kids, while pardoning, of course, 25 fraudsters and robbing victims of over $1 billion. Donald Trump should have to face the kids and parents who will be hurt even though they've done nothing wrong. I want to know what the president and the House majority expect the parents of these kids to do. Many don't seem to care. He wants to pardon and protect more rich crooks and fraudsters who have robbed over $1 billion from innocent people. Now, in California, in my home state, this threatens over 176,000 kids. 176,000 kids. Well, he continues, of course, to pardon fraudsters and connected folks that have donated immense amounts of money to his campaign. Now, this hurts not just Democratic families, but Republican families. It's innocent kids, regardless of political party, who need childcare. We are in an affordability crisis, and the majority is not going after the real fraud that's being committed to the American public. Now, in Illinois, he has threatened funding for more than 62,000 kids. 62,000 kids. And finally, in Colorado, the other state that he's going after, more than 16,000 kids will lose funding. But we know
because they're not supposed to be here. He's not going to feed them if they're undocumented and came across the border. That's why.
The video is too quiet? Boost your volume up to 600%.
Thank you for taking the time. I apologize for off-topic questions.
Here's another hair gel.
A lot of these were off topic. Nothing to apologize for.
He uses all the hair gel.
Your Ben Shapiro podcast yesterday at the 1 hour 9 minute mark.
I haven't seen it, but I was part of it. Thanks. Well, thanks. Don't I know some of you have accused me of drinking out of plastic bottles as an offensive act, but this was just offered to me, so forgive me, Father. I sinned. Anyway, that's for my friends at the whatever. You know who you are. Country. Yeah.
You asked him what grade would he give the president 1 year. So let me ask you, as we approach Tuesday, January 20th, what grade would you give the president? Second question is from Kron.
Oh, what grade? AAA plus? Was that what Trump said about his performance? Yeah.
What grade would you
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
then, from Kron,
I'm a tougher grader.
Kron Forest, San Francisco was on a ride along with the California Highway Patrol. The agency is now enforcing English language proficiency for truck drivers. Mr. Governor, what is your reaction?
On that issue, there's a lot of back and forth between the administration,
Hey,
Secretary
Freeside.
Duffy's office, my office, on the new rules and regulations that were advanced by the Trump administration recently in that space. And we've been trying to work through some of those differences. It's on a myriad of issues, not just that issue as it relates to the ride along and some of those new enforcement requirements that have been advanced and established by the federal government. As it relates to grading the president, I just used his own words. He said he'd make us wealthier and healthier, and we're poorer and sicker, period. You saw the new manufacturing numbers that just came out. I mean, that was one of his top priorities. It was one of his big promises. He's lost manufacturing jobs. I mean, this economy, the job creation's the lowest since the recession, 2003. It's a wrecking ball presidency. It's been a disaster, and it continues to unfold in extraordinary ways. An abject failure. F. And I don't think there's any objective way to suggest otherwise unless you're on the payroll. It's just a remarkable series of mistakes. You saw what just happened with Prime Minister Carney's visit to China with President Xi. He got an exemption to now start to flood the Canadian market, not with American manufactured cars, but Chinese manufactured cars, by lowering the tariff, was 100% down to 9%. Turning his back on American manufacturing because Donald Trump didn't just flip off a worker at Ford. He gave a middle finger to the entire American automobile manufacturing sector. And China continues to flood the zone. I said it during the State of the State, and I refer back to my comments in detail what I mean by that. This is an extraordinary wrecking ball presidency. He is flailing in every category on a weekly basis. On a weekly basis, the courts, even those that he appointed, are rejecting this administration and its policies. So I cannot impress upon you more. I may be generous with that grade of F. It was that night before he federalized 4,000 National Guard, sent 700 active duty Marines, not overseas, but to the second largest city in the United States. And in the ensuing months, we've seen BORTAC teams, people dressed up, tactical gear, Apache helicopters, descending streets all across America, masked men.
Because you were
Without
trolling.
providing identification, and we're in court on that. I was proud to sign the first anti-masking bill in this country. He's trying to stoke
Anti-masking bills, that he
a
said?
civil war in this country.
I thought
It is a
California was
disgrace
big on masks.
what he's doing in Minneapolis. It is a disgrace what he's doing all across the United States of America, terrorizing communities.
Trolling Gavin's hair.
It is a disgrace what his Department of Homeland Security is putting out.
Absolutely.
These ads evoking the worst.
This is my prediction for him. You know, those speculators that he wanted to come in, or he said he was talking to when all those fires happened. He wants to make that a, what is it called? A smart city. I showed y'all a video the other day of what they're wanting to do in Saudi Arabia, and it's pretty much the same thing where, you know, flying cars and kind of stuff, where it's a smart city. And the only way they could do that was to start at ground zero. And the woman that he was involved with, what's her name? Lilatoya, what's her name? She's now the what, prime minister or some shit of ambassador to Greece. I bet they meet up. I bet they meet up. Yes. Mm-hmm.
The 1930s, very intentionally
He wants to
stoking
have the first concept smart
tensions.
city.
White supremacy being promoted actively by this administration, the corruption and graft, the likes of which we've never seen in modern history, modern world history. Modern world history. And I can give you chapter and verse
And
on
or
that.
the
None of this is
highway, wasn't
normal,
there like some sort
and
of
it cannot be normalized.
bridge that he was
So
building?
we take it very seriously. Our 53 lawsuits and counting, overwhelming success in terms of our litigation posture, very aggressive in calling this out, drawing lines literally, not just figuratively. And once again, another example of over.
They're doing that here already. Let me show you. He's just giving rhetoric. Is it drone? Oh, and they said that what is his name? John Stamos is here filming, and he was in Mooresville yesterday out shopping. Amazon drone delivery.
Now I'm not sure about it. I was excited for Amazon's new drone delivery service until this happened. Now I'm not sure about it.
Amazon drone delivery package.
Isn't that crazy? I gotta get off here. They're back with my lunch. So I will see y'all later. Y'all have a great day, and thanks for coming and hanging out with me.
Bye-bye. Thanks now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bada bing, bada boom. Get over here. Get out of here.
Go, Monty, go, 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 go!
He's got green grass in front of him. He's at the 5 touchdown.
Woo!
it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our life tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like a movie, my love. You when I wake